Hi, this is Phyllis with another episode from my second win series. Been very busy, and I just thought I'd share what's going on. This is a banned books week. You can recall from one of my recent videos that we have several books that are banned regularly, and they turn into some very popular literature as well as movies. So I learned it's banned book week. So let's take the quiz. Books unite us, censorship divides us is the theme. What is Banned Book Week? The Banned Book Week is an annual event celebrating the freedom to read, and I'm all in favor of that. Banned Book Week was launched in 1982 in response to the sudden surge in the number of challenges to books in schools, bookstores, and libraries, typically held during the last week of September. It highlights the value of free and open access to information. Banned Books brings together the entire book community, and I'm certainly part of that. I wrote another short story, and it's on Amazon titled Gaps with some artworks in progress. Librarians, booksellers, publishers, journalists, teachers, readers of all type, even those who consider unorthodox or popular. So to learn more, go to the website on ALA. So, do you think you can figure out why a book was challenged or banned? Let's take the quiz. Are you in? This is sponsored by the West Florida Public Libraries. No, I'm not. Question number 2. What is your preferred branch? So far, let's pick Southwest. Keep going. Next. Again, we want it to be short and sweet. Be who you are. When people look at Melissa, they think they see a boy named George, but she knows she's not a boy. She knows she's a girl. Melissa thinks she'll have to keep this secret forever. Then a teacher announces that their class play is going to be Charlotte's Web. Melissa really, really, really wants to play Charlotte. But the teacher says she can't even try out for the part because she is a boy. With the help of her best friend Kelly, Melissa comes up with a plan, not just so she can be Charlotte, but so everyone can know who she is once and for all. Now, this was even discussed in the National Medical Association medical conference, so it is a real issue that has to be dealt with. What reasons have been given for this book, George by Alex Gino, to be challenged, banned, and restricted? Guess. Number 1, choice, multiple choice, LGBTQIA and content. Number 2, conflicting with a religious viewpoint. Number 3, not reflecting the values of the community. Number 4, all the above. I'd say all of the above. Next. Banned Book Week celebration, All American Boys. And my books are on Amazon in case you're wondering. I mention again, All American Boys. A bag of chips. That's all 16-year-old Rashad is looking for at a corner bodega. But what he finds instead is a fist-happy cop, Paul Galuzzo, who mistakes Rashad for a shoplifter, mistakes Rashad's pleadings that he's stolen nothing for belligerence, mistakes Rashad's resistance to leave the bodega as resisting arrest, mistakes Rashad's every flinch and every punch the cop throws as further resistance and refusal to stay still as ordered. But how can you stay still when someone is pounding your face into the concrete? Oh, there are witnesses. Quinn Collins, a varsity basketball player and Rashad's classmate, who's been raised by Paul since his own father died in Afghanistan, and a video camera. Soon the beating is all over again. Rashad's being punched in the face, and Paul is getting threatened with accusations of prejudice and racial brutality. That is the law enforcement individual. Quinn refuses to believe that the man who has basically been his savior could be guilty, but then Rashad is absent and absent and absent again, and the basketball team, half of whom are Rashad's best friends, start to take sides, as does the school and the town. Simmering tensions threaten to explode as Rashad and Quinn are forced to face decisions and consequences they never before considered. Now, these are all banned books, so why do you think this was banned? What reasons have been given to challenge and ban All American Boys by Jason Reynolds? Number one, profanity. Number two, drug use. Number three, alcoholism. Number four, because it was thought to promote anti police views containing divisive topics and be too much of a sensitive matter right now. Or number five, last choice, all the above. Here's my guess. Check the box and let's keep moving. All right, number three, Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I know the Bible was on the list, but I'm not sure if that'll be part of the celebration this time. 16-year-old Star Carter moves between two worlds, the poor neighborhood where she lives and the fancy suburban prep school she attends. The uneasy balance between these worlds is shattered when Star witnesses the fatal shooting of her childhood best friend, Khalil, at the hands of a police officer. Khalil was unarmed. Soon afterward, Khalil's death is a national headline. Some are calling him a thug, maybe even a drug dealer. Now, on each one of these, you get to see the cover and the author's name, Angie Thomas. Back to the Hate You Give summary. Protesters are taking to the streets in Khalil's name. Some called him a thug, a drug dealer, a gangbanger. Some cops and the local drug lord try to intimidate Star and her family. What everyone wants to know is what really went down that night. And the only person alive who can answer that is Star. But what Star does or does not say could upend her community, which of course my nonprofit is devoted to community. And I'm blessed and I'm excited to have this opportunity to talk about a timely community matter here in 2021. We'll go back in the past on the next episode. Again, what reasons have been challenged for those who just stepped in? This is Banned Book Week, so we're going through a few and taking a quick quiz to figure out why these books were banned. Again, what reasons have been given for challenging and banning The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas? Number one, being pervasively vulgar. Now, again, my series are all PG, so I will avoid those. Number two, drug use. Number three, language. Number four, profanity and offensive language. Number five, sexual references. Number six, promotes an anti-police message. Or number, at the end, all the above. I'll take my choice, all the above, and keep moving. Next, To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. The long-running classic, also made into a movie on the banned books list. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. A lawyer's advice to his children. Now, they might have banned it because they were portraying lawyers in a certain way. But anyway, I won't add my commentary. A lawyer's advice to his children as he defends the real Mockingbird of Harper Lee's classic novel, a black man charged with the rape of a white girl. Through the young eyes of Scout and Jim Fitch, Harper Lee explores with rich humor and unswerving honesty the irrationality of adult attitudes towards race and class in the deep South of the 1930s. Now, if you check out my podcast series, Second Wind, you'll have some excerpts to show you, help paint that picture of the 1930s Deep South, in particular in regards to the African American experience, as well as others. For example, the egg-sucking dog. But let me not digress too far. The conscience of the town, steeped in prejudice, violence, and hypocrisy, is pricked by the stamina and quiet heroism of one man's struggle for justice. But the weight of history will only tolerate so much. So again, what reasons have been used to challenge and ban To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee? Let's go through this one. Number one choice, racial slurs, the use of the N-word and the negative effect on students. Number two, featuring a white savior character. Number three, its perception on the Black experience. Number four, violence. Number five, racism. Or last but not least, my favorite, all of the above. Let me check this and move on to the next one. Twilight I think that turned into a hit series. But let me not digress. The book is banned, part of our banned book celebration in honor of education and community. Books unite us, censorship divides us. This is the banned book week quiz. Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. Here's a quick synopsis. Isabella Swan's move to Forks, a small, perpetually rainy town in Washington, could have been the most boring move she ever made, but once she meets the mysterious and alluring Edward Cullen, Isabella's life takes a thrilling and terrifying turn. Up until now, Edward has managed to keep his vampire identity a secret in the small town he lives in, but now nobody's safe, especially Isabella, the person Edward holds most dear. The lovers find themselves balanced precariously on the point of a knife between desire and danger. Banned books, Stephanie Meyer, Twilight. The reasons have been given for challenging Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. Number one, a religious viewpoint. Number two, violence. Number three, sexually explicit. Number four, unsuited to the age group. Or last but not least, it's becoming my favorite, all of the above. Next, okay, we have one more, classics in some people's minds, and the others number one bestsellers and hits on the Hollywood hit parade, Academy and Emmy Award winners. Okay, Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, banned books. Here's a synopsis. An unlikely pair, I guess that's also considered a tagline. Unlikely pair, George and Lenny, two migrant workers in California during the Great Depression, grasp for their American dream. They hustle work when they can, living a hand to mouth existence. For George and Lenny have a plan to own an acre of land and a shack they can call their own. Now it's George and Lenny. We just had a love affair between a vampire and Isabella. But anyway, back to this one. They have an idea of having their own shack. When they land jobs on the ranch in Salinas. Now, some of us might know of the legacy of Salinas. I'm sure Ms. Dolores Huerta has some ideas. Anyway, the fulfillment of their dream seems to be within their grasp. But even cannot George guard Lenny from the provocations, nor predict the consequences of Lenny's unswerving obedience to the things George taught him. Okay? Banned book quiz. What reasons have been used to challenge and ban Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck? Number one, racial slurs and racial stereotypes in Salinas Valley in the farm working environment. Okay, number two, offensive language. I won't digress too far. They say stick to the script. Number three, violence. Number four, my favorite, all of the above. I think that's it. Next, Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. Oh, well, I'm sure that's quite up there on the target range immediately from the cover. But anyway, taking us from Afghanistan in the final days of the monarchy to the present, The Kite Runner is an unforgettable and beautifully told story of a friendship between two boys growing up in Kabul, raised in the same household and sharing the same wet nurse. Amir and Hassan grow up in different worlds. Amir is the son of a prominent and wealthy man, while Hassan, the son of Amir's father's servant, is a Hazara, a shunned ethnic minority. Their intertwined lives and their fates reflect the eventual tragedy of the world around them in Kabul, Afghanistan. When Amir and his father flee the country for a new life in California, Amir thinks he has escaped the past, and yet he cannot leave the memory of Hassan behind him. The Kite Runner is a novel about friendship and betrayal, about the price of loyalty, and it is about the bonds between fathers and sons and the power of fathers over sons, their love, their sacrifices, and their lives. So why would this book about Afghanistan written by Khaled Hosseini, The Kite Runner, be banned? Number one, sexual violence. Number two, promoting Islam. Number three, leads to terrorism. Number four, offensive language. Number five, violence. Number five, homosexuality. Number six, sexually explicit. And my all-time number one favorite, all the above. Let me check that and keep going. And we're going to wrap this up. We're not going to go through all of these, but my goodness, we found a good one to perhaps end this. Captain Underpants series by Dave Pilkey on the banned books list. The series revolves around, I'm working on this very carefully, two fourth graders, Captain Underpants, George Beard, and Harold Hutchins, living in Pequot, Ohio, and Captain Underpants, an aptly named superhero from one of the boys' homemade comic books, who accidentally becomes real when George and Harold hypnotize their cruel, bossy, and ill-tempered principal, Mr. Krupp. That is the synopsis. Why was this banned? By Dave Pilkey, Captain Underpants. In honor of Bad Books Weeks, encourages disruptive behavior, number one. Number two, offensive labor. Number three, violence. Number four, anti-family content. Number five, sexually explicit. And my favorite, I'm going for that again, all of the above. Click next. Okay, one more, and I think we'll wrap things up, and we'll leave this to your imagination. The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. Now, I do believe this was a hit in the Hollywood circuit, but on the banned book list. Let's think of how it could be banned by the American Library Association. Again, that's also honoring the Tougaloo Nine who were put in jail. They called the police when in Mississippi they were in the reading areas of the segregated all-white library. Someone called the police and they were put out, and they were told to go down the street to the colored library. But again, don't let me digress too far. Hunger Games is a series of young adult dystopian novels written by the American author Suzanne Collins. The series is set up in the Hunger Games universe, with the first three novels being a trilogy. Those are my favorites now. Following teenage protagonist Katniss Everdeen, the Hunger Games universe is a dystopia set in Panem, a North American country consisting of a wealthy capital and 13 districts in various states of poverty. Every year, children from the first 12 districts are selected via lottery. So they're lottering off children to participate in a compulsory televised battle royal death match called the Hunger Games. The question is, why would one think they would ban this? All right, these are your chances to guess again. And your last, what reasons have been given for challenging and banning the Hunger Games trilogy by Suzanne Collins? Anti-ethnic, number one. Number two, anti-family. Number three, insensitivity. Number four, offensive language. Number five, occult and satanic. Number five, violence. And I'm going again for the winner, all of the above. Now, I'm going to take another chance, one more minute in this presentation, since I took a break, and I'm going right back to the core purpose of these YouTube channel series so I can win. Harry Potter on the banned book list, top number one seller. Why would they ban this? Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling. Harry Potter is a series of 7 fantasy novels written by British author J.K. Rowling. The novels chronicle the lives of a young wizard, Harry Potter, and his friends Hermione Granger, and Ron Weasley. Now, you Harry Potter fans, forgive me if I butcher these names, all of whom are students at the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. The main story arc concerns Harry's struggle against Lord Voldemort, a dark wizard who intends to become immortal. overthrow the wizard's governing body known as the Ministry of Magic, and subjugate all wizards and muggles, the non magical people. Now, I'm seeing some very hot button terms, but let me just power on through this final question. What reasons have been given to challenge and ban the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling, referring to magic and witchcraft? Number one. Number two, actual curses and spells. Number three, character use of nefarious means to attain goals. And I'm trying to keep this PG. Number four, Satanism. Number five, violence. Number six, anti family. Number seven, religious viewpoint. My favorite, all of the above. I think that's it. I'm going to click that and see what my results are. And again, thank you. I can view the results, but I'm going to keep those secret. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Second Wind, and I will see you next time. You have a great day. And again, let's honor Banned Books Work, Banned Books Week the best way that we can. And remember, books unite us, censorship divides us. And we'll close for now. Thank you for joining me on Second Wind as I view the results, but we can get a good idea of what to expect with this.